we don't have any time for an intro. I spend 1 week trying to go super in-depth on the Hornets offseason so far. I got a whole shebang going on over here of notes and I was knocking it out. And then today happens, and Kawhi goes and gets traded, and Ja got traded yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. But we're going to say screw that video. And we're just going to cover it all in today's. All that work just goes by. But, whatever. This is more important. So anyway, let's just skip all the theatrics and all that, and let's just go straight into it. So, LaMelo Ball and Josh Green are headed to Minnesota for Naz Reid in unprotected 2033 first, a first-round pick swap in 28, 29, and 30, and second-round picks in 29, 32, and 33. LaMelo Ball had 3 years left on a franchise record 5 years, $204 million designated rookie contract. Now, the money doesn't necessarily matter in this trade. We're not really looking at his value in money. We're looking at how he helps the team and what he brings, right? So, my original thought when I first saw this deal was that I didn't really understand it at first or why. The report did come out that they apparently weren't shopping. Let's see. Shams said Charlotte didn't shop Ball in the market, but it listened and received multiple rich offers before filing a significant one. Received multiple rich offers before filing a significant need in. Okay, I'm not clicking on this. I don't want to click on Twitter. I don't know what I'm gonna see. But anyway, they weren't really shopping LaMelo. So, I mean, it's a great haul they received. But I see this from the lens of this team offensively last season was one of the best, if not the best, past the January. I believe it was the new year. They were the best offense in the league. Don't quote me on that, but I think they were the best offense in the league past January forward. And it kind of stinks for Charlotte fans, because now they're really rebuilding a rebuild. You have LaMelo, you had Khan, you had Miles Bridges, you had Moussa Diabate, you had Brandon Miller. It was a fun, super exciting young team. And now, yes, there were their concerns. Was the championship level roster? No. They were amazing. They best offense in the league. I mean, come on. But defensively, and to be fair, LaMelo does have his downsides. He missed a ton of games in his career due to the bunch of injuries, but mainly his ankle. Now, last year he played 72 games, but that was the most he's played since the 2021 season, right? So he played 47 in 24, 22 games in 23, and 36 in 22. So he has been dealing with a ton of injuries. So a lot of what swayed my opinion on this trade to, and I guess, lean more, okay, good for Charlotte than I did originally, was that a lot of reactions where I saw were that the Hornets were being proactive instead of reactive. Now, the difference being they don't want LaMelo to get hurt and them not get anything for him. So them being proactive, him coming off this amazing season they just had, they figured, let's go trade him, and he might not be a part of our future. Let's go get what we can for him. And they got a haul. Credit to them, they got a haul. They got an unprotected 2033 first, which we don't know what the lottery is going to look like then, but, it could be extremely valuable. We don't know. The first round pick swaps are 28, 29, 30, but I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that these are like layered upon layers of swaps in this, because they normally are. They're never simple. It just can't be. And they got 3 seconds as well. And Naz Reid. Shout out Naz Reid. But they got a lot of draft capital. So they're not going to be great this upcoming season, which, it's a step back for the fans, which you never really want to see. You don't want to see this if you're a Hornets fan. It's not fun. You're just pushing back your timeline again. But you have a lot of young talent, and it's something to look forward to with all these picks. So, like I said, I think my opinion has changed to where this is good for Charlotte. But it's also if LaMelo can stay healthy, good for Minnesota. There was that report, I think it was from Shams, that Ant was my bad. Ant was becoming frustrated that they haven't been able to make it back to the conference finals, because it's kind of like when you're as competitive as these NBA players are, once you make it once, you need to make it back. And if you don't, you begin to grow frustrated, right? So Ant was beginning to go frustrated, and other teams were watching like hawks. They were, heavily monitoring to the situation to see if he became available. And Minnesota clearly didn't want that. So they went out and traded for LaMelo Ball. I just don't know what these pick swaps are, so I'm not gonna say it was a lot, but it was a decent total for somebody who you're kind of taking a flight risk on. Like I discussed with the Hornets being proactive, now it's the Timberwolves' problem to deal with. He might not play. He does, however, do a lot for this team. Minnesota needed that helpful hand to Ant. They got him. LaMelo Ball is an amazing playmaker. He can help. Probably the biggest one of this trade is Rudy. He can go help Rudy. He can relieve some pressure off Ant, and that backcourt is fun. They're just extremely fun. So I would give both sides. I would say this trade's not bad for either side. I'm relatively neutral. I'm not going to lean good or bad. The next trade, also including the Charlotte Hornets, was the Miles Bridges trade. I mean, it was good for the Hornets. They got another 2033 first round pick, right? Yeah. I don't know. They must be hawking some 7th graders. I don't know if that math is right, but they're middle schoolers. They must be that guy we want him. He's shooting from 25 feet, and they're just like, they're doing everything they can to draft this 8th grader. Just whatever they can. So they trade Miles Bridges to the Phoenix Suns for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a 2033 first-round pick. Yeah, it's good for the Hornets. If you are rebuilding your rebuild, Miles Bridges is getting older, and you got a first-round pick out of him. Him and LaMelo went for the same amount of unprotected first-round picks. This is an amazing trade for Charlotte. Miles Bridges is, I want to say he's 20. I'm sorry, let me look that up real quick. He is 20. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. He is 28, so he is getting up there, and I personally didn't watch many Charlotte Hornets games this past season, but I've heard a lot of people say that his counting stats do more for him than the actual on-court does. The eye test doesn't pass as well as the stats do. So if you believe that he's not part of the future as well, go get what you can for him. And trade him to Matt Ishbia, why not? The Suns received a 29 first-round pick, but the problem with that pick is we will still have the 3-2-1 lottery, because the new lottery odds pick up in the 26, so this offseason coming up. So it'll be the 27, 28, and 29 draft, because it's 3 years of the 3-2-1 system. And so they received this Hornets pick with the knowledge of that the Hornets could be really good in 2029. They could be incredible if everything goes to plan. So is it that value of a pick? Not really, but it could be. We'll have to see how things continue to go. There's a 27 second. Sure, could be something. And obviously the man of the hour, Miles Bridges. That Matt Ishbia loves him some Spartans, man. He's gonna go get him some Michigan State. He went to Michigan State. Could you guess where Miles Bridges went to school? If you said Michigan State, you'd be right. Matt Ishbia loves him some Spartans, man. I don't know. He just. They tried to trade for him in the 20. Let me make sure. 20. I don't know. It was somewhere on this article, but I believe they tried to trade for him in the 24, if I'm not mistaken. Trade deadline, and so Matt Ishbia, like I said, wants him some Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges works in his system. I'm sorry, I'm looking up Royce O'Neal's age real quick. He works in his system. Obviously, he probably just does the same thing that Michigan State does. And him and D-Book will probably work well together. I don't actually know how the Suns roster is not grading out anymore. Dylan Brooks, is his con? I don't know. But yeah. So I mean, it's good for Charlotte, that's for sure. Phoenix, you might have to deal with Miles Bridges. I don't know anything about him on the court wise, if he's a good teammate or not. Off the court, he's probably not the best partner in the world, that's for sure. But yeah, so Hornets like a solid A. You're getting Grayson Allen, you get a 2033, you get an old man Royce O'Neal. Grayson Allen can be fun. He was really good in this last season, so that could be something to watch. And then the Suns grade, I don't know. I would give this trade like a B. I would also need to see contracts and stuff of that sort. Now, the most confusing trade has nothing to do with the Hornets, so, here we're on to the parts that have happened recently, because screw my video idea that I wanted to cover the Hornets offseason. Ja Morant is a Portland Trailblazer. He is being shipped off to Portland, and Memphis receives Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. Sure, I guess. They got absolutely nothing for Ja Morant. They just took on a bad contract for a bad contract. And it was smart. This relationship was over. Both sides wanted out, and I think every team knew that. That's why this package is so underwhelming for the two-time All-Star, All-NBA second team. Wow, All-NBA second team. I didn't know that. Rookie of the Year, All-Rookie first team, Most Improved. He was so good. But the problem with Ja, and why Memphis is kind of shooting for stars here, is, one, he played 20 games last year. Secondly, he can't shoot the ball. Just at all. In basically 4 attempts last season, he shot 23%. Now, yes, it was only 20 games, but he shot 23% from 3 on 4 attempts. The year before, he took almost 6 and shot 30. That was in 50 games. And then the year before that, in 23, he took 5 again. He took 6 again, and he shot 27%. So he has never been an amazing three-point shooter. And what made Ja so special when he won the Rookie of the Year was his ability to get down low, right? And he was 20. With him becoming older, it becomes more taxing on his body to attack downhill like he used to. So he's going to need to learn how to shoot the ball better. Is this team fun? I mean, absolutely. You have a returning Dame, and then a Ja at the 2. It'll be either Ja at the 1. Probably, I don't know how tall Ja is, but Ja at the 1, Dame at the 2. Yeah, that's pretty fun. That's a really fun backcourt. But the only problem is Ja, I mean this in the most respectful way possible, is Ja Morant even still good at basketball? Only time will really tell. He averaged 19, 2, and 8. Whoa! Passed the ball. Ayo. 28 and 3 last season. So is he still good? And Memphis received Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. Sure, why not? The Portland Trailblazers wanted to dump Jeremy Grant's contract. They did it. Congratulations. And Chris Murray. Congratulations to Memphis, I guess. This trade does not move the needle at all. It just, new direction. We're moving away. So that team that was good a couple years ago is all gone. No Desmond Bane, no Ja, no Jaren Jackson. So the Grizzlies are truly taking a new step in the direction. Jeremy Grant is also 32. Wow. He's getting up there. It's a bad contract. But the last trade and most fun is Kawhi Leonard is returning to Toronto. This is a great trade for both sides, in my opinion. So, the Toronto Raptors received Kawhi Leonard. The LA Clippers received Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, a first-round pick in 2031 and 2033, second-round picks in 2030 and 2033, and a first-round pick swap in 27. Obviously, for Toronto, you get Kawhi. Returning legend of the franchise. Somebody who was incredible last season. I mean, we're talking about a guy who finished 7th in MVP. He was All-NBA second team and averaged 28, 3.6, and 6.5. In the most games he's played in a couple years. He played 65 games and averaged 28. That is the highest mark in his entire career last season. Last season, he averaged his most points ever. I mean, he was an utter Terminator. He just precision like no other. He shot 57% from 2 and 57% from the field. I'm sorry, 50% from the field. Effective field goal of 57%. He shot 50% from the field. On 20 shots a game. That's just unheard of. The man is truly a killer. So yeah, this is it's a great trade. And on top of that, I have it written down. Give me 1 second to find it. You have to believe, you're the Toronto Raptors, that if you have somebody of Kawhi's caliber in these playoffs, you probably make it to take on the Knicks in the conference finals. You know, B.I. only averaged 12 points in the first round against the Cavs. And you have to think, if you had somebody like Kawhi, you easily take that series. Then you move on to play the Pistons again. You probably take that series. And then you move on to play the Knicks. That would have been a legendary series. We will see if Kawhi can stay healthy. Again, it's a recurring theme in this of we don't know if they can stay healthy. It had LaMelo, Ja, now Kawhi. Every single one of these trades sits on if the player can stay healthy or not. If Kawhi can stay healthy, this Raptors team is going to be a problem. They can have lineups of Kawhi, CMB, Jakob Poeltl. Is he still in the? I think he is still in the. And Scotty Barnes. Oh my lord, I almost forgot Scotty Barnes. That team is defensively unstoppable, maybe. Who's scoring on that lineup? Now, yes, they're a really expensive team. And Kawhi is, I believe, looking for an extension with Toronto. So he's going to be even more than his $50 million. He might be a little bit cheaper, but for a longer term. So, I mean, this is a great trade for Toronto. It's just a great trade. You gave up a who in thought is better Grady Dick than actually is happening. 6'7", could shoot it, ain't shooting it. He ain't been hitting it. And you get Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's good at basketball. Believe it or not, if you only watch the playoffs, Brandon Ingram is good at the game of basketball. But he's kind of like, he kind of sits in the realm where he is so good that a trade can center around him, but he is also not good enough to where the team that has him is going to agree to that trade centering around him. Right? Because we've seen him get moved a ton in his career. And then you get 2 firsts. You're really low. What is with these 2033? Sorry. If you're Clippers, you're trying to rebuild your capital. You know, it's one of those things where you can't. They're so low on their picks because they went all in for that Kawhi and PG era. And in hindsight's 2020. Obviously, you can look at that and blame them now. But when they were trying it, it was a Kawhi who just came off a championship, right? He went utter Terminator mode, took care of business, hit one of the biggest shots in the entire league's history. I mean, he killed everybody. He took Giannis. He literally told them, "I want Giannis. Give him to me," and locked him up. So you're looking at that version of Kawhi, and then a Paul George who came off a top 3 MVP and like a top 3 defensive player of the year. So you can't really blame them for, in the moment, seeing that this team could have been something special. So if you're the Clippers, it's great. You got a bunch of capital back. Again, you get a first-round pick swap, second-round picks. Really, honestly, if Kawhi can stay healthy, this is an A for both sides. We could see this Raptors team be a genuine problem. We could see this Clippers team in a few years be a genuine problem. So, those are my thoughts. As always, at the end of the day, just remember, I'm just a guy with a microphone and an opinion. Peace out.